Hi everyone, just me again. I'm back today with another review, and this review is going to be on my favourite comic book movies of all time, X-Men First Class. Um, why is this a great film? Um, Basically, I love comic books. If you've watched my channel, you'll know that I'm a massive geek and nerd at the end of the day. One of my favourite areas is comic books, manga, anime, etc. All the superhero, imaginative, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. Um, and whilst I've really been the massive X-Men nerd, like a lot of people are, I've always admired them. I love the old cartoons that they did back in the 80s, the 90s. I fully enjoyed watching them as a kid when they were doing the reruns. And I always did follow them. I had a couple of favorite X-Men, like everyone else. Iceman, Shadowcat, um, Storm, one of the best fan favorite ones. Never really Wolverine, but I still love Storm. Um, and I was pumped when I heard that they were doing new X-Men movies. And I sat down, I watched the first X-Men movie when it came out, then I watched the second one, and then I watched the third one. I wasn't really impressed. I have to be honest with you. I mean, I had some good points, and some of the actors that played X-Men or the villain mutants, etc., they refilled their parts well, like Magneto, oh, played by. Oh, isn't it the same whenever you try and figure out facts, they just completely go out of your head? Well, anyway, I can't remember Magneto's actor name at the second. I know, but Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier hit the spot. He was fantastic. Halle Berry as Storm, I felt was quite good. They didn't give her as much respect as they should have. Storm should have used her powers a lot more. But still, she was a great actress for that role. Well, Sir Ian McKellen, that was Magneto. Oh, I'm such a bad nerd for not remembering that straight off the bat. But anyway, I was disappointed though because I felt that the first X-Men movies weren't really well written. They didn't make a huge amount of use of the mutant powers as they should have done. And I understand that they might have been holding back on special effects or for the sake of story, that they didn't want, these all-powerful mutants who can just, get through all these problems like that with their powers. We must reel back in the powers. But it just made it stupid at the end of the day. And it didn't really feel like what I can imagine an X-Men movie actually being like. But in this regard, in terms of strong characterization, brilliant storytelling, and the fact of frequent use of powers, to the extent I think that it's realistic, X-Men First Class really did show well. So the setting for this is it's set when mutants are first discovering their powers. After the Second World War, mutants are starting to emerge. The American government is starting to recognize that mutants are emerging. And what it is this all starts after the Second World War. There's a bit of a prequel showing how Magneto, as a teen, was discovering his powers. And how, as a child, how young Xavier, child Xavier, met child Mystique. Flash forward to the main part of the movie when the main setting is it's set around near the Cuban Missile Crisis and the growing tensions in the Cold War between Russia and America. And one of the key strengths I loved about this movie is the fact it used real world events in this parallel world. So it kept the same setting, but it was kind of a what if film. What if mutants had been around during real world events? How would they have affected it? And I think that's exactly what the directors were going for, and it just worked fantastically well. They had great actors in to play the parts of young male Xavier, young male Magneto. The actors that played them, who were they again? James McAvoy, brilliant British actor. I've seen a couple of his works before, and I quite liked him. And Michael Fassbender. I haven't seen so much what he's done, but he definitely played a really good Magneto in this film. And so I really loved the way they were actually making use of real world events as part of their storyline, but twisting it to be their own version. That made it quite interesting, and it made it a good plot. But what was also great as well was actually seeing the beginning of the relationship between Xavier and Magneto, the friendship, not very proper relationship, I should stress, the close brotherly friendship, and you could see the fact that they had the ideal. They wanted mutants to be free, but the but you could see how they were, because of events that happened in the past, it was slowly leading them, splitting them away down two different paths. And you can see how that effect was having on their friendship, and the the inclusion of other famous other famous X-Men characters like Beast, and their histories and such, just added more to it. They had a really good, strong young cast as well in the movie. Like I said, the story just was really well. It was really well written. The dialogue was a step up again from what the first trilogy had been like. In a way, I feel this is. When I saw this, I was very impressed. This is a new standard for comic book movies. This was before the Avengers came out, which again, another great standard. When you get the Avengers and this movie together, this is the new standard of what Marvel need to do for their comic book movies. I mean, when you compare this to the X-Men trilogy they did before, it's like comparing the new Spider-Man to the original Spider-Man trilogy. You have to admit the new Spider-Man movie, as much as it faulted in a couple of areas, as it was still a step above what the original Spider-Man trilogy was. And this is just a step above the original X-Men. This is a couple of steps above. So Marvel, you definitely need to keep out this quality, and this will definitely not just bring in the nerds like me that are already fans of the franchise, but also become really good fans of your movie franchise. This will bring in other people that are not aware of the franchises and get them involved. It'll just generate interest in Marvel like never before. Look what happened with Avengers. You did a really good Avengers movie, and now you've got droves of new fans getting involved in the franchise and the background and loving the characters. Avengers stuff is everywhere at the second. T-shirts, the characters, the posters, there's spin-offs to the movie and such. It's all out there. It's great. I've heard that this is the first film in a proposed new trilogy of X-Men films, kind of prequels to how the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants formed. And if that is the case, I am really stoked. I'm going to do some more research onto it, and I'm hoping that they've greenlighted the second movie in this trilogy. But if nothing else, this is a great standalone if they don't do a trilogy, and one I fully recommend if you want a good example of a comic book superhero movie that is well directed, well written, and just well acted. Okay, so I'm Hugh. I've brought you another great recommendation here today. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think about it. And if you think there's other comic book movies out there that I haven't mentioned that are the same quality of standard, please do let me know, share in the comments, and I shall come back to you with another review soon.